The alien queen's daughters disappeared. Then they were found sleeping curled up in the humans' room. The alien world of Zalith was unlike anything humans had ever imagined. Enormous spires of crystal and metal rose high into the sky, reflecting light from the twin suns above. The air was thick with energy, and strange creatures moved in the shadows. At the center of this vast empire stood the palace of Queen Zalith, a ruler feared and respected across many star systems. The queen was powerful, and her daughters were even more important. They were young, intelligent, and strong, trained to lead and to maintain the unity of the hive. Every citizen looked up to them, and every diplomat watched their every move. One quiet night, the palace was calm. The twin suns had set, and glowing lights illuminated the halls. Guards patrolled in long lines, their weapons ready and their eyes alert. But inside the royal chambers, a storm was about to begin. Three young princesses slept in their private room, unaware of the danger coming. They were beautiful, with hair that shimmered like silver and eyes that glowed softly in the dark. Even though they were royalty, they were still children in many ways. They giggled softly as they told each other stories, unaware that someone, or something, was watching. Suddenly, a faint shimmer appeared at the edge of the room. The princesses looked around, confused, but before they could react, a strange pull surrounded them. It was not like anything they had felt before. It was gentle yet firm, like being wrapped in invisible hands. They did not cry or resist. Somehow they felt safe, even as the room faded around them. Within moments, they vanished. The palace was silent except for the faint hum of the energy fields that usually protected it. When the guards returned to check the chambers, panic spread quickly. The doors were locked, the security systems intact, but the princesses were gone. The alarms rang across the palace, and the queen herself was summoned. Zalith's eyes burned with fear and anger as she surveyed the empty room. The guards reported nothing unusual. No one had entered. No one had left. It was impossible, and yet the evidence was clear. Her daughters were gone. The queen's advisors moved quickly. Generals, scientists, and priests gathered in the throne room. Maps of the surrounding space stations and human colonies were displayed, and every possible theory was discussed. Some whispered of human kidnappers, others feared a betrayal from within the hive. The queen listened quietly, her mind racing. She had always believed her daughters were protected. Nothing had ever breached the palace before. How could this happen now? Meanwhile, far from the palace, on a small human research station orbiting a blue and green planet, life was quiet and ordinary. Alex Carter, a young engineer, moved through his small room, checking equipment and making notes. He liked simple things. The hum of the station, the lights blinking on panels, and the occasional chatter from other humans were comforting. He lived alone most of the time. The crew trusted him because he was careful and thoughtful, not because he sought attention. Tonight he felt something unusual but could not understand it. Without warning, Alex heard soft voices near the door. At first, he thought it was a trick of the wind or the station's ventilation. Then he saw them. Three figures, small and delicate, shimmered in the light. At first, he could not believe what he saw. They were not human. Their features were alien, their skin pale and smooth, and their eyes glowed faintly like stars. They looked frightened, but there was no aggression. Alex stepped forward slowly, speaking softly. "It's okay. I won't hurt you." The princesses looked at him, and for reasons Alex could not understand, they calmed. They moved closer, clutching each other as if seeking comfort. Alex knelt down, holding out his hands. One by one, the princesses came near, resting their heads against his arms. Alex was astonished. He had never seen anything like this before. He did not know where they came from or why, but he understood one thing clearly: they needed him. Back on the alien world, Queen Zalith's mind raced. She could not wait. She ordered all ships to launch, scanning every human station and settlement nearby. Elite warriors trained to detect deception and danger moved swiftly. They would find the princesses. She refused to believe that humans could have hidden them without leaving a trace. Rage burned in her chest, but so did worry. She thought of her daughters sleeping somewhere unknown, and the thought made her heart ache. Alex, unaware of the galactic alert he had just triggered, guided the princesses to a quiet corner of his room. He shared blankets, water, and simple food. They accepted everything silently, watching him with wide, trusting eyes. It was the first time in days, perhaps weeks, that they had felt safe. Alex noticed their hands were small, delicate, and strangely cold, but their presence brought a warmth to his room that he had never felt before. As night deepened, the princesses curled up near Alex's bed. One rested her head on his shoulder, another on his lap, and the third tucked her arms around his knees. Alex sat quietly, unsure of what to do next. He knew humans and aliens had had conflicts before, but he could not believe these creatures were dangerous. They seemed more like children in need than enemies. Still, he knew he could not keep them forever. He had to find help, but from whom? The thought of returning them to a place of safety terrified him. What if the humans on the station could not protect them? Far away, the Queen's fleet had begun their search in earnest. Ships moved through space with precision and power. Alien scanners swept planets and stations, detecting energy patterns, life forms, and unusual readings. Every signal that suggested human activity was investigated, and commanders communicated quickly with the Queen. She waited in her palace, pacing, her mind shifting between anger and hope. She remembered the laughter of her daughters, their curious minds, and their unyielding spirits. She could not imagine anything happening to them. Yet now she faced the unthinkable. Her daughters were missing, and the only clue led to humans. On the station, Alex finally spoke softly to the princesses. "You are safe here," he said, "but I need to find someone who can help. I can't keep you hidden forever." The princesses looked up at him with silent understanding. They did not speak, yet they seemed to know that he would do what was right. Alex felt a strange bond forming, something he could not explain. They had chosen him, just as much as he had chosen to protect them. Outside the station, Human Commander Lisa Brown noticed unusual readings on the scanners. She frowned, puzzled. "Alex," she said through the communicator, "are you alone in your sector? I'm picking up 3 small life signs, alien, not registered." "Are you seeing this?" Alex hesitated, unsure how to answer. "Yes," he said finally, "but they are not hostile. I think they need help." Lisa's voice was tense. "Keep them safe, Alex. I'll notify security, but don't let anyone on the station approach until we know what we are dealing with." Alex nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. The night passed slowly. Alex stayed awake, watching the princesses sleep. He marveled at their calm faces and gentle breathing. Somewhere across space, Queen Zalith prepared for war, believing her daughters might be in danger. Alex, in his small human room, felt the universe shrink to a single moment, 3 lives trusting him completely. He knew the coming days would change everything. As the first light of the distant suns touched the station, Alex resolved to protect the princesses. He did not know what would happen next, but he knew that humans had the capacity for care, for courage, and for understanding beings far beyond their imagination. In that quiet room, among blinking consoles and soft alarms, the first chapter of a new story was written, a story that would challenge empires, shift loyalties, and reveal the hidden strength of humanity. The princesses stirred, opening their glowing eyes to see Alex watching. One reached out and touched his hand. Alex smiled softly. "We'll figure this out together," he whispered. Outside, the hum of the station continued, unaware of the power, fear, and hope that now shared its halls. And so, the disappearance of the alien queen's daughters began a chain of events that no one, not even the queen herself, could have imagined. The galaxy waited unknowingly for what humans and aliens would discover about trust, courage, and the bonds that could cross stars. The quiet of the human research station did not last long. Alarms blared suddenly, piercing the calm air. Alex Carter jolted from his chair, his heart pounding. The monitors around him flashed red, showing multiple unknown signatures approaching the station at high speed. The readings were alien, strong, and unmistakable. Alex froze. He had only just begun to understand the three small aliens in his room, and now he faced an entire fleet. Through the communicator, a voice spoke urgently. "Alex, this is Commander Lisa Brown. Multiple alien ships are entering orbit. They are powerful and heavily armed. Do not engage, they are scanning your room. I repeat, do not engage." Alex swallowed hard. He looked at the princesses. They were still asleep, curled up quietly on the floor, completely unaware of the approaching threat. Somehow, they seemed calm despite the flashing lights and alarms. Alex realized that whatever had drawn them to him had not faded. They trusted him completely. Outside the station, the alien ships moved with precision. The Queen's elite soldiers were aboard, trained for war, observation, and control. They had been instructed to find the missing princesses by any means necessary. The orders were simple: no human interference should stop them. As the first ship hovered over the station, soldiers prepared their weapons and scanning devices. They had expected resistance, maybe panic, maybe even deception. What they found would shock them. Inside Alex's room, the princesses stirred at the vibrations of the approaching fleet. One opened her glowing eyes and looked toward the window. Alex noticed the faint light of an alien ship reflected on their skin. "Stay calm," he whispered, more to himself than to them. "Everything will be okay." He tried to think fast. How could he protect them from a military force far stronger than anything humans could match? He had no weapons, no shield, only his mind and the trust of these children. The alien soldiers made their entry silently. A door opened, and several tall figures stepped into the room. They were covered in armored suits that glimmered faintly. Their eyes glowed like the princesses, but their expressions were rigid, trained. They scanned the room with precision, weapons ready. Alex stepped forward slowly, holding out his hands in a gesture of peace. "They are safe," he said. "I am not harming them." The soldiers froze. They had expected resistance, but instead found a calm human, standing alone in a small room with three royal alien children sleeping beside him. The youngest princess shifted slightly, opening her eyes and looking directly at the soldiers. She did not scream or panic. She simply stared. The soldiers exchanged silent signals, confused by what they saw. One whispered into his communicator, "They are here, alive, and calm." Commander Lisa Brown monitored the situation from the control room. She spoke into her communicator urgently, trying to prevent a conflict. "Hold your fire," she said. "They are not attacking. Alex, keep them calm. I'm trying to contact their command." Alex nodded, though he could not see her. He crouched near the princesses, placing a gentle hand on the shoulder of the one closest to him. "It's okay," he whispered. "They will not hurt you." The soldiers moved closer, scanning the children. Their instruments confirmed the identity of the princesses. Energy readings matched the royal markers of Queen Zaleth's daughters. The soldiers froze in shock. No one had expected the princesses to be unharmed or calm. Their own training had prepared them for fear, panic, or aggression. These children showed none of that. Instead, they looked safe, peaceful, and trusting of a human. Alex felt the tension in the room. He realized that any sudden movement could trigger a violent response. He thought quickly. "They came here alone," he said. "I did not take them. I only wanted to help. Please, you can scan everything if you need. They will not run, they trust me." The soldiers hesitated, scanning the room with their instruments. Finally, one spoke, voice cold but uncertain. "Human, you have custody of our princesses. Why are they not frightened?" Alex shrugged, unsure how to answer. "I do not know," he said honestly. They like it here. They feel safe. I did not do anything to make them afraid. I only helped." The soldiers looked at the princesses again. One of them reached out her small hand toward Alex, and he instinctively took it. The gesture caused confusion among the soldiers. They had been trained to assume fear or hostility, but this was neither. It was trust, something they had never fully understood. As the soldiers observed, a larger ship arrived in orbit. Queen Zalith herself appeared on the view screen, her form massive and regal. Her eyes blazed with fury and worry. "Report," she commanded. Her voice echoed through the station, calm but filled with authority. One of the soldiers replied, "Your Majesty, the princesses are unharmed. They are in the custody of a human and they show no fear." The queen's eyes widened in disbelief. "Explain," she demanded. "How can this be possible?" Inside the room, Alex felt the weight of the queen's gaze through the communication. He swallowed hard. He was only a human, alone, and facing one of the most powerful rulers in the galaxy. Yet he knew he could not lie. "They came here on their own," he said softly. "I did not force them. They needed help and I gave it. They feel safe here, that is all." The princesses shifted slightly, pressing closer to him. The soldiers noticed the reaction and exchanged uneasy glances. Queen Zalith's voice softened slightly, though still commanding. "Human," she said, "do not harm them. Do you understand?" Alex nodded quickly. "I understand. I only want to keep them safe until someone arrives to help. They are children, not weapons." There was a long silence. The queen's mind raced. She had sent her most trusted soldiers to retrieve the princesses, expecting fear, maybe resistance, maybe even danger. What she found instead was calm, safety, and trust in a human. She could hardly comprehend it. The soldiers began to relax, though cautiously. They lowered their weapons slightly, scanning the princesses once more. The children did not move aggressively. One of them, the eldest, tilted her head and smiled faintly at Alex. He felt a strange warmth spread through him. Somehow he knew they recognized his care and understood he meant no harm. It was a trust beyond words, beyond species. It was something instinctive. Commander Lisa Brown monitored every step, speaking to Alex quietly. "Do not panic," she said. "The Queen is watching. Stay calm." "They will not attack unless provoked." Alex nodded, keeping his eyes on the princesses. He whispered softly to them, "You are safe. No one will hurt you here." The princesses snuggled closer, their small bodies curling against him as if protecting him too. Alex could feel their breathing, gentle and steady, and a strange sense of connection formed. Outside, the queen studied the readings. Her daughters were truly unharmed. No weapons, no stress, no signs of pain. The soldiers reported that they had measured every vital sign and confirmed their health. Yet, the queen's heart still raced. She had never expected her daughters to behave this way. Never had she imagined that they would trust a human enough to sleep in his room, completely unafraid. It was extraordinary. Alex looked at the soldiers again. He realized that the only way to keep the peace was honesty. "They are not here because of me," he said. "They chose to come here, they felt safe. I only helped." One soldier lowered his scanner and spoke quietly. "Your behavior is unusual. Most humans would panic or fight. You do not. You understand them." Alex shrugged, unsure how to explain. "I just see that they are children. I see that they need help. I don't care if they are alien. I care if they are afraid." Queen Zalith's voice returned, calm but with intensity. "Human, you have something rare. We will not harm you. Yet know this, you hold our daughters in your care. If anything happens to them, your species will answer for it. Do you understand?" Alex nodded quickly. "I understand. They are safe. I promise." The princesses shifted slightly, as if sensing the gravity of the situation. They pressed closer to him, trusting him completely. The soldiers began to communicate with the human crew, establishing a cautious perimeter. No one made sudden moves. Alex stayed with the princesses, watching the glowing eyes of each child. He realized something profound. Humans had a unique ability to connect, to show care without command or threat. It was something even the Queen's soldiers had never fully understood. Through the long hours of monitoring, a fragile peace formed. The princesses slept quietly, curled up beside Alex, while soldiers and humans alike watched in awe and confusion. The Queen's fleet remained in orbit, scanning and waiting. Yet in that small human room, trust and calm prevailed over fear and suspicion. Alex understood that this moment was the beginning of something extraordinary, something that could change the understanding between humans and aliens forever. As the distant suns rose, the first signs of a new day appeared outside the station. The princesses stirred and Alex whispered softly, "Everything will be okay. We are together." Outside, the alien fleet hovered, waiting, watching, but for now no weapons were fired. The human room had become a haven, a place of calm in a galaxy filled with fear. And so the first confrontation ended without violence, not because of strength, not because of strategy, but because of trust, care, and the unexpected power of humanity. The Queen's daughters remained safe, sleeping peacefully in the human's room, and the galaxy watched silently, waiting for what would come next. The human station settled into a strange quiet. The alien fleet hovered outside, and the Queen's soldiers remained on alert, but inside Alex Carter's room there was calm. The three princesses had curled up on the floor near him, their small bodies resting against his legs. Their glowing eyes opened slowly, watching him as he moved quietly around the room. Alex felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had never felt responsible for anyone like this before, and yet here they were, trusting him completely. Alex began to talk softly to them, telling them small stories about his life, the station, and even the stars beyond. He spoke slowly, carefully, making sure not to startle them. One princess reached out and touched his arm. Her skin was cold but soft, and Alex felt a shiver of awe. She looked at him, her eyes glowing faintly, and for a moment no words were needed. The connection between them was clear. They had chosen him, and he had accepted that responsibility without hesitation. Outside, the alien soldiers monitored the situation. They were confused and unsettled. They had been trained to expect fear, panic, or resistance from humans, yet here was a human showing care, patience, and understanding. He had not threatened them, hidden the princesses, or attempted to flee. Instead, he had created a safe space, a place where the children could feel calm and protected. One soldier whispered to another, "How is this possible? Humans are not supposed to understand us like this." Inside the room, Alex offered water and simple food to the princesses. They accepted silently, watching him with wide, glowing eyes. Alex smiled faintly. "I know you are hungry," he said. "You can trust me. I will not hurt you." The youngest princess leaned against him, her small head resting on his shoulder. Alex gently stroked her hair, careful not to startle her. He realized that the trust they felt was not just fear of harm, it was genuine belief that he would protect them. The Queen, watching through the fleet communications, was troubled. She had expected her daughters to resist, to panic, to fight. Instead, they were calm, safe, and attached to a human. She could not understand it. How could a human create a feeling of safety for her royal children when her own soldiers, trained for generations, could not? She paced in her throne room, her thoughts racing. The bond between Alex and her daughters was undeniable, and it filled her with both fear and awe. Alex spoke quietly to the eldest princess. "You are safe here," he said. "No one will hurt you. I will not let anything happen to you." She tilted her head slightly and nodded, a small glow in her eyes acknowledging his words. The middle princess reached out and held his hand. Alex felt a strange strength flow through him. He had never considered himself a protector, but now, in this small room with the weight of an empire pressing from beyond, he understood what that meant. Commander Lisa Brown worked alongside Alex, coordinating with the alien soldiers to prevent conflict. "Alex," she said quietly through the communicator, The queen is observing. She is confused but not hostile yet. Keep your distance but stay with the children. They are sensing your calm and it is helping. Alex nodded. He felt the responsibility pressing on him, but he also felt a quiet confidence. The princesses needed him, and he would not fail them. Over the next hours, the bond between Alex and the princesses deepened. He learned their names, Lyra, Selene, and Orina, and he discovered small details about them. They had favorite games, favorite colors, and even favorite stars in the sky. They could not speak human words, but they understood him perfectly, responding to tone, gestures, and care. Alex realized that communication was not only about words, it was about trust, understanding, and presence. Queen Zalith continued to observe. She watched as her daughters laughed softly when Alex made small gestures, shared stories, or offered comfort. She noticed the calm in their eyes, the way they leaned toward him rather than away. She had never seen her daughters behave this way. In the hive, children were raised under strict rules, discipline, and constant training. Fear was often used to guide behavior, and obedience was expected. Yet here were her daughters, calm, joyful, and free in the presence of a human. The queen's heart ached with conflicting feelings. She had sent fleets, trained soldiers, and advanced technology to retrieve her daughters. She had expected battle, confrontation, maybe even hostility. Instead, she saw care, patience, and understanding. She could not deny it. The human had something her soldiers did not. He had something instinctive, something deep that created trust and calm. She began to wonder if humans were stronger in ways she had never considered. Alex continued to care for the princesses. He provided blankets, helped them wash, and even taught them small games to pass the time. The princesses responded eagerly, glowing softly in moments of joy. Alex felt a strange pride and connection. He had never imagined himself in this role, but now he understood the meaning of responsibility, of protection, and of trust. He also understood the fragility of their situation. Outside, powerful forces waited, ready to act if the wrong move was made. The soldiers reported to Queen Zalith constantly. "They are calm," one said. "The human is not harming them. In fact, the children appear happier in his presence than we have ever seen." The queen's voice softened slightly. "Continue observation," she said. "Do not interfere. We must understand this before taking action." The soldiers were uneasy but obeyed. They had been trained to act, not to watch and wait. Yet they could see the truth in front of them, undeniable and strange. As hours passed, the princesses grew more comfortable with Alex. They explored the small room, laughing softly when he showed them objects or simple games. Alex taught them to stack small blocks, to draw shapes in the air, and even to hum songs. The princesses responded, glowing faintly in delight. Alex realized that he was not only keeping them safe, but helping them experience joy, something rare in their strict royal upbringing. The human's presence was creating freedom, safety, and trust all at once. Queen Zalith considered what she had seen. She realized that humans had qualities her empire had never valued: patience, empathy, and understanding without command. Her daughters had felt pressure, discipline, and expectation their entire lives. They had never known calm, joy, or unconditional care. And now they had experienced it with a human. The queen could not deny that it unsettled her. Perhaps humans were stronger than she had believed, not in weapons or technology, but in ways deeper than combat. Alex noticed subtle changes in the princesses. Lyra, the eldest, began to relax completely, leaning against him without fear. Selene, the middle child, laughed softly at small jokes he made, her eyes glowing warmly. Orina, the youngest, pressed against his side, trusting him completely. Alex felt a deep responsibility. He was their protector now, and the bond was mutual. He understood that he could not fail. The entire galaxy's perception of humans might depend on this simple act of care. Commander Lisa Brown coordinated cautiously. "Alex, continue observation and care," she said. We are learning. The queen is testing us, not attacking yet. Maintain calm. Her daughters are responding to you, and that is the key. Alex nodded, realizing that the situation was delicate. One wrong move could escalate into conflict, yet the trust he shared with the princesses created a buffer, a wall of calm that even advanced alien soldiers could not break. The night stretched on. Alex told small stories, shared gentle songs, and even helped the princesses rest. They slept peacefully beside him, the room filled with soft hums of comfort. Outside, the alien fleet continued surveillance, scanning for any hint of deception or threat. The queen watched, her mind a storm of questions. How could a human, alone and unarmed, create such calm and trust? How could her daughters feel safe with someone she had been taught to fear? She realized that her understanding of humans was incomplete. Alex understood the weight of his actions. He knew that this was not only about protecting the princesses, but also about bridging a gap between species. He could feel their trust, see their happiness, and hear their faint laughter. In that small room, he realized that humans had a power that no weapon could match, the power to create safety, trust, and understanding. It was a power even the queen's soldiers could not comprehend fully. As dawn approached, the princesses stirred. Alex whispered softly, "Good morning, you are safe. Nothing will hurt you here." They looked up at him, eyes glowing faintly, and smiled in acknowledgement. Alex felt a warmth spread through him, stronger than fear or anxiety. He understood that trust could overcome even the greatest danger, and that humans had the ability to protect and care in ways the galaxy had not yet seen. Queen Zaelith, watching silently, began to rethink her approach. Her daughters were safe, calm, and happy. The human had proven himself trustworthy in ways no soldier or technology could. She could not deny it. Perhaps humanity's strength was not in combat, strategy, or fleets. Perhaps it lay in the ability to create trust, to protect life, and to inspire calm where fear should reign. The thought unsettled her, yet it was undeniable. And so, the bond between Alex and the princesses grew, unbroken by fear or threat. The queen began to question everything she had believed about humans. The galaxy watched silently, unaware that a single human and three young alien princesses had begun to rewrite the rules of trust, power, and understanding across the stars. The day began quietly on the human station, but the calm was tense. Outside, the alien fleet hovered silently, scanning, observing, waiting. Inside, Alex Carter sat on the floor, leaning against a small console. The princesses, Lyra, Selene, and Orina, were awake now, moving slowly around the room. They looked at Alex with curiosity and trust, their small hands brushing against his arms or legs. Alex smiled faintly, his eyes tired but gentle. He had stayed awake most of the night, ensuring that they were safe. Through the communicator, Commander Lisa Brown spoke quietly. "Alex, the Queen wants a direct conversation. She will appear on the main screen. Remain calm. Do not make sudden moves. She is testing us." Alex swallowed hard. He knew the Queen's power. He had seen the fleet, the soldiers, the advanced technology. Yet he also knew the truth. The princesses trusted him, and that trust could not be broken. "I understand," he replied softly. The princesses watched him closely, sensing tension in the air but not fear. The main screen flickered, and the massive figure of Queen Zaelith appeared. Her presence filled the room with authority. Her glowing eyes swept over the scene, lingering on the princesses sleeping peacefully on the floor. Her expression was hard, but her voice held curiosity mixed with caution. "Human," she said, "explain why my daughters are here. Why are they unharmed? Why do they trust you?" Alex took a deep breath and stepped slightly closer to the princesses. "They came here on their own," Alex said calmly. "I did not bring them. They were lost, alone, and frightened. I offered them safety. They trusted me. That is all. I only wanted to help." The queen's eyes narrowed. She had been trained to command obedience, to expect loyalty through fear or respect. A human showing care and creating trust without coercion was something she had never imagined. She looked at her daughters and saw them glowing softly, calm and unafraid. It unsettled her. One of the princesses, Lyra, moved closer to Alex, brushing her hand against his arm. He knelt slightly, gently taking her hand. "You are safe," he whispered. "No one will hurt you here." The queen's eyes softened slightly, though her voice remained commanding. "Human," she said, "children of my blood cannot be treated this way. They are trained for strength, for duty. Why are they calm? Why are they at ease with you?" Alex looked at her daughters, then back at the queen. "Because they feel safe. Because they are not under pressure here. Because they are not being forced to obey. They trust me because I care for them, not because I command them." The queen was silent for a long moment. Her mind raced. She had never considered that trust could be earned without force, that care could create calm where training and duty demanded stress. Her daughters had been taught to fear mistakes, to obey commands instantly, to suppress emotions. And yet here they were, glowing softly with comfort, their fear replaced by curiosity and calm. It was something she could not control. It was something she did not understand fully. Alex continued, speaking gently. "I am not here to harm them. I do not want to take them away. I only want to keep them safe. You trained them to survive, to be strong, but I gave them something they had never experienced, peace. You may not understand it, but it works." The queen's eyes softened further. She watched her daughters, noticing the faint smiles, the gentle gestures, and the glow of calm in their eyes. She realized that what Alex said was true. They had found something in his presence that even she could not provide. The queen's soldiers looked uneasy. They had been trained to retrieve the princesses quickly, to assume that humans would resist or threaten. They had expected fear, but what they witnessed was something completely different. A human showing care, patience, and calm. A human who understood children, even alien royalty. One soldier whispered to another, How is this possible? We have never seen trust like this." The other soldier shook his head, equally stunned. Alex spoke quietly to the queen. "I understand your concern," he said. "But they are not afraid. They chose to be here. They feel safe with me. They are your daughters, yes, but they needed something else too. They needed someone to listen, to care, and to protect without orders. That is what I did." The queen's expression softened further. She studied Alex carefully, noticing the calm strength in his eyes. She realized that humans had a power her empire had not considered, the ability to create trust and safety without command. Lyra, the eldest princess, spoke softly in her alien language, then glanced at Alex. He responded gently, even though he could not fully understand the words. The queen watched closely. Her daughters were communicating freely, relaxed, and calm. It was unprecedented. She had always believed that humans were simple, unpredictable, and weak. Yet here was a human showing more understanding, patience, and care than many of her own soldiers. It unsettled her deeply. Commander Lisa Brown monitored the situation from the control room. She spoke quietly to Alex. "You are doing well. The Queen is reassessing everything. She sees what humans can do differently. Keep calm and continue to care for them. This is the key." Alex nodded, kneeling beside Orina, the youngest. He gently held her hand. "You are safe," he whispered. "No one will hurt you. I will protect you." Orina pressed closer to him, her trust absolute. Alex felt a strange sense of pride and responsibility. Queen Zalith remained silent, observing. She realized that her assumptions about humans were flawed. She had believed strength came only from discipline, training, and obedience. Yet here was proof that humans could wield strength differently, through empathy, patience, and care. She felt a mix of fear, admiration, and curiosity. She had never imagined that one human could have such an influence on her daughters, nor that this influence could be positive, healing, and transformative. Alex continued to care for the princesses throughout the day. He shared simple food, offered comfort, and engaged them in small games and stories. The princesses responded with laughter, curiosity, and gentle gestures of affection. Their glow of calm and trust filled the room. Alex realized that the bond was mutual. He protected them, and in return they trusted him completely, teaching him something profound about empathy and responsibility. The queen finally spoke, her voice softer now. "Human, I see what you are doing. My daughters, they are calm, happy, and safe. Your care is different from what we understand. It is remarkable. I do not know if our empire will accept this, but you have proven that humans have strength in ways we never imagined." Alex nodded quietly. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only wish to keep them safe. They trust me, and I will not betray that trust." The princesses shifted slightly, glowing softly, and pressed closer to Alex. The queen watched, her heart heavy with awe and wonder. She had trained her daughters for duty and obedience, but now she realized that there was another kind of strength, one that came from empathy, care, and trust. She could not deny it. Humans had a power that her empire had overlooked, and it was displayed here, quietly, in a small room with one human and 3 young aliens. Alex felt the weight of the queen's presence, but he also felt confidence. He understood the responsibility he carried. These children trusted him completely, and he would protect them, no matter the cost. He also understood that this was a moment that could change the way humans and aliens interacted. Trust, care, and empathy could reshape relationships across the stars. Commander Lisa Brown spoke quietly through the communicator. "Alex, you are doing exactly what we need. Continue to care for them. The Queen is observing and her perspective is shifting. Stay calm, stay steady, and maintain trust." Alex nodded, kneeling beside Selene, the middle princess. He offered her a small toy from his room, and she smiled faintly, reaching out to touch it. Alex realized that small gestures of care had power far greater than any weapon in the galaxy. The Queen's soldiers reported quietly. "They are calm," one said. "The human has created a safe environment." The princesses respond with trust and curiosity, not fear. "We have never seen this before." The queen remained silent, her mind racing. She could not deny what she saw. Humans were different, strong in ways her empire had not considered. Perhaps the galaxy had underestimated them. As night approached, Alex helped the princesses rest. They curled up beside him, glowing faintly, peaceful and calm. Outside, the alien fleet continued surveillance, but for the first time, no tension filled the air. Inside the room, care, trust, and empathy had created a bubble of calm in the midst of a galaxy on edge. Alex realized that the bond he had formed with the princesses was not just about protection. It was about understanding, about showing that humanity's strength lay in compassion and trust. Queen Zalith reflected on what she had seen. She realized that humans had qualities her empire had never valued. Strength could come from patience, empathy, and care. The princesses had found something in Alex that even she could not provide: peace, trust, and joy. She knew this would change the way she thought about humanity forever. The galaxy was beginning to see that human strength was more than firepower. It was the power to protect, to care, and to inspire trust, even in the children of queens. And so, a new understanding began to take shape. Alex and the princesses shared a bond that was unbroken by fear or threat. Queen Zalith began to question her beliefs about humans. Outside, the galaxy waited, unaware that a single human and 3 young alien princesses had begun to shift the balance of perception, showing that empathy, trust, and care could be stronger than fleets, armies, or commands. The human station was quiet in the early hours of the morning, yet a sense of tension lingered in the air. The alien fleet still hovered outside, their ships massive and powerful, but the atmosphere was calmer than it had been in days. Alex Carter sat on the floor of his room, surrounded by the 3 princesses, Lyra, Selene, and Orina. They had slept peacefully most of the night, curling close to him, glowing softly in the dim light. Alex had learned to read their moods, to understand their subtle gestures, and he knew that they trusted him completely. Through the communicator, Commander Lisa Brown spoke quietly. Alex, the Queen is requesting a final discussion. She will be on the main screen shortly. Remain calm. Remember, she is not attacking. She wants to resolve this peacefully. Alex nodded, glancing down at the princesses. They were stirring, rubbing their eyes and stretching. "It's okay," he whispered. "Everything will be fine. Stay close." The princesses responded with soft touches and small movements, reassuring him in their own way. The screen flickered and Queen Zalith appeared, her massive form filling the view. Her eyes glowed faintly, but her expression was softer now than before. She had spent hours observing, studying, and reflecting. The calm of the human room, the trust the princesses had shown, and the patience of Alex Carter had challenged everything she believed about humans. She had sent fleets, soldiers, and technology expecting fear and conflict, and instead she found care, empathy, and calm. "Human," she said, her voice steady, "I have watched your actions carefully. My daughters, they are safe, calm, and even joyful. This is not the way of my empire. It is not how my soldiers or advisors would have handled them. Yet here they are, unharmed and happy. You have done something extraordinary. Explain why you deserve their trust." Alex looked at the princesses, then back at the queen. He spoke softly, choosing each word carefully. "Your Majesty, I did not do anything special. I only offered safety. I listened, I cared, and I did not try to control them. They needed someone they could trust, and I tried to be that. Nothing more. But I promise, I will protect them until they are safe." The queen's gaze shifted to her daughters. Lyra stepped slightly closer to Alex, her glowing eyes fixed on him. Selin and Orina followed, moving with small, deliberate steps. They did not hide, they did not resist, and they did not fear. The queen realized that their attachment to this human was real. It was not forced. It was chosen. For the first time, she saw that humans could create trust without power, fear, or command. The concept unsettled her but also inspired respect. "Your actions demonstrate a kind of strength I did not expect from your species," the queen said. "We have always measured strength in command, technology, and force. Yet you have shown that protection, care, and empathy are forms of power. Perhaps humans are stronger than we have believed." Alex felt a small sense of relief. He had not tried to impress the queen, yet she was beginning to understand. The princesses responded to his calm, not to fear, and that calm had changed her perspective. The soldiers outside shifted uncomfortably. They had trained for efficiency, precision, and control. Yet here one human alone had created a situation where alien royalty were safe and peaceful. They whispered among themselves. "It is not our methods that worked," one said. "It is the human. The trust he earned, the care he gave. It is something we cannot replicate with weapons or orders." The queen listened silently. She realized they were right. Humans had a power that her empire had not yet understood. Alex knelt beside Orina, the youngest princess, and gently held her hand. "You are safe," he said softly. "We will figure everything out together." She pressed closer, her small glow brightening faintly in response. Alex looked at the queen. "Your daughters are safe, Your Majesty. I will not let anything happen to them. They trust me, and I will honor that trust." The queen watched silently, noting the quiet strength in his voice. It was not arrogance. It was calm, steady responsibility. She had never seen such determination from a human. Finally, the queen spoke again. "Human Alex Carter, you have proven something extraordinary. My daughters are safe because of your actions, not because of my soldiers or my technology. You have earned respect and trust in a way few humans ever could. I offer this. No harm will come to you or your station. Furthermore, I propose a bond between your people and mine, based on understanding, respect, and cooperation. Your species has shown potential that is rare, and I will not ignore it." Alex's eyes widened. He had not expected such an offer. He looked at the princesses, who seemed to glow brighter at the words. Commander Lisa Brown spoke quietly through the communicator. "Alex, this is historic. The Queen is offering recognition of human strength and a path toward peace. Maintain calm, but be ready to respond appropriately." Alex nodded. He felt the weight of responsibility, but also a sense of hope. Humans had been underestimated across the galaxy, yet here, through simple care and trust, they were being recognized for their true strength. The princesses stirred, moving closer to Alex. Lyra placed a small hand on his shoulder. Selin brushed against his arm and Orina curled beside him. They were calm, safe, and connected. Alex realized that their trust was not only for protection, it was a bridge between worlds. Through him, humans and the Queen's empire could begin to understand each other. Simple acts of care had created peace, and that peace could change the galaxy. Queen Zalith continued, "I will take your actions as proof that humans can protect, can care, and can inspire trust. This is a lesson my empire will not forget. Your daughters will return home safely, but know this: they will remember you, and they will carry your influence with them. Humanity has shown that strength is not only measured by weapons or fleets, but by the ability to protect life and inspire trust. This is a power worthy of recognition." Alex felt a mixture of pride and humility. He had only done what felt right, yet it had shifted the perspective of an entire alien empire. The soldiers reported quietly. The princesses remain calm. "The human continues to care for them without coercion. We confirm that no threat exists." The Queen nodded. She realized that the human's actions had created a rare phenomenon, a peaceful interaction based on empathy and trust between species that had been taught to fear each other. The galaxy, she thought, had much to learn from humans. Alex spent the rest of the day with the princesses, sharing stories, simple games, and quiet moments of care. Outside, the fleet maintained surveillance but did not act aggressively. The Queen observed, learning, reflecting, and slowly accepting that her daughter's bond with Alex was genuine. She saw that humans had abilities her empire had overlooked, abilities that could reshape alliances, resolve conflicts, and build understanding. As the day drew to a close, Queen Zalith gave final instructions. "Return my daughters to the palace safely, but ensure that they retain the lessons of trust and care they have learned. Honor the human who protected them. Recognize that humans possess a rare strength. We will begin a new understanding between our peoples." The soldiers transmitted the orders, and the princesses looked up at Alex with glowing eyes. They seemed to understand the significance, even if they could not speak it in words. Alex knelt beside them, holding their hands. "You will be safe," he said softly. "You are my friends, and I will always care for you. Your mother will keep you safe, and now she understands a little more about humans too." Lyra leaned closer and pressed her head against his shoulder. Selin and Orina mirrored her, curling around him in quiet trust. Alex felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had protected them, and in return, they had shown him the power of connection, trust, and empathy. Commander Lisa Brown spoke softly. "Alex, you have done more than protect them. You have shown humanity's true strength. This will be remembered." Alex nodded quietly. He felt tired, but the feeling was peaceful. The princesses stirred, glowing softly, and seemed to radiate trust, calm, and happiness. Alex realized that this moment, small and quiet as it was, could ripple across the galaxy, changing perceptions of humans forever. Finally, the princesses were returned to their mother, Queen Zalith. They hugged Alex briefly, a silent promise that they would remember his care. The Queen watched, her expression softened, her heart filled with a mix of awe and respect. She had learned that humans had a strength beyond fleets, beyond weapons, beyond command, a strength in empathy, protection, and trust. It was rare and it was powerful. Alex watched as the princesses and Queen departed. The alien fleet slowly moved away, leaving the human station in quiet peace. He sat alone for a moment, reflecting on what had happened. He had acted out of care, not ambition, yet his actions had created peace, understanding, and recognition across the stars. Humanity had shown its true power, not through war, but through trust, empathy, and protection. As the sun set on the human station, Alex smiled faintly. The princesses had returned safely, the queen had recognized human strength, and the galaxy had witnessed something extraordinary. In a small room, through simple care, one human had shown the universe that empathy and trust could be stronger than fleets, stronger than weapons, and stronger than fear. Humanity had begun a new chapter, one written not in conflict but in courage, understanding, and compassion. And so, the story ended not with battle or conquest, but with hope. Alex had protected the alien queen's daughters, taught them the meaning of trust, and in doing so, had reshaped the queen's understanding of humanity. The galaxy would remember this moment, the moment when one human's care and courage showed that true strength lay not in dominance, but in the ability to protect, to connect, and to inspire trust across the stars.